Alright, good afternoon, Arkansas. This is Assistant Chief Forecaster Kevin back here once again. I'm here to give you guys a video blog and a written blog going over the potential of seeing winter weather as we get towards that Wednesday and the Thursday time frame of next week here. So there's a lot to go over. This video is not going to be the short one as we saw from yesterday. This one is probably going to be a 10 to 20-minute video blog here. So if you don't have time to listen to the video, check out our written discussion. It'll have everything you need to know on there, similar to the video blog here. So you guys saw this first thing this morning, the scenario post on Facebook. Scenario 1 takes the rain, winter met snow through Arkansas. The scenario 2 has a cold rain here. So the biggest story out of this entire thing is going to be the cold air coming in behind it. Okay. I want to stress that that cold air behind it is nothing to sneeze at. It's not going to be anything like it has been for this entire season, okay? So it's going to be a lot of cold air coming in behind it, and that cold air could mean the difference between seeing a cold rain here in Arkansas or a full-blown winter storm here in a natural state here. So as you can see, scenario 1 takes the track from West Texas, Southeast New Mexico, through Central Texas, through Southeast Texas, up to central Louisiana, into south central Mississippi, and into Alabama. Winter storm from much of Arkansas, Oklahoma, North Texas, northwestern and northern Mississippi, into western Tennessee here. Cold rain elsewhere. So that's scenario number 1. Right now, I'm putting that at 60%. And the reason why I'm putting that at 60% right now is because of the fact of two things. And I'm going to show you here in just a second. I'm going to go over that here in just a bit. Okay, so scenario 2, at this point, as you can see, the low pressure goes from West Texas to Central Texas, and then goes northeast into North Louisiana, Southeast Arkansas, and the northern Mississippi. That cancels out your winter weather threat here. That goes all to northwestern Arkansas, Oklahoma, and into northern Texas, and into the Midwest. That has a 40% chance of happening at this point here. And the reason why I said it has a 40% is because of the fact of this. And I'm going to show you this real quickly here. Okay, so maybe for just a second, I'm going to pull this up and I'm going to take off the scenario maps here. So what you're looking at here is the historic nor'easter that's going to be moving up as we get towards late today, late tomorrow, and into your Sunday time frame here. And that's going to pull north, and it's going to go northwest into the Arctic Circle. Basically what that's going to do, as you can see on this map here, there's your low here, okay? So your low tracks to the north, okay? And then it retrogrades itself into the Arctic Circle, and then it sends down that colder air from West Canada down into the central, southern, and eastern portions of the country, along with ridging building across the western half of the United States up into Alaska. That will bring a significant amount of cold air. Also, this will alter the path of the system that's coming in. As you can see, the system is diving down in the into the Rockies, and then goes into New Mexico, and then it goes straight into Louisiana, Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi before overtaken by the Arctic air. So basically, this entire map shows the reason why I'm taking more winter weather for next week versus heavy rainfall and even isolated severe threat for next weekend. Please keep in mind, there are a lot of changes that are going to be made over the next 4 to 5 days, okay? Please stay with us, guys, okay? And I know there's a lot of people out there, all right, that are doubting this winter weather potential because of what happened last event. Folks, I'm going to be extremely straightforward with you guys. If you hold on to just one event, you're going to get burned every single time. I've learned that as a forecaster, okay? Don't hold the forecasters to just one event. We all bust. There's not a meteorologist out there. There's not a guy that does weather for a living that can't tell you they've busted on one event. Okay, we understand. We know what happened. We take that burden. We all understand. We all pick ourselves up and we move on. Okay, not every event is going to be like it was with the last event with the upper level low. The upper level low is very tricky to forecast. Okay, it's very tricky. It brought its own cold air down. Everything was marginally conducive for winter weather with that setup. Some folks got extremely lucky. Marshall came in the winter with over a foot of snow. And some places, as for example Conway, didn't get a bit of snow at all. They stayed rain the entire time. So that's why we're saying don't hold us to just every event. Don't hold us to just one event, because if you do that, you're going to get burned every single time. It's not going to, not every event's going to be the same. This one's going to have its own cold air. You can see the Arctic blast surging down in Arkansas. There's a lot of cold air working with this system, and this system is delayed by even 12 hours. We can go from a cold rain to a major winter storm just like that. Okay, there's a lot of uncertainty with this system and the track. The track is going to be very crucial on what's going to happen as we get towards the middle part of next week here. Okay, so I blabbed my gums about it. Let's jump straight into computer model guidance here. So this is computer model guidance at this point. I'm going to get this off the screen at this time here. So this is the computer model guidance. This is the 12Z GFS. Okay. As a matter of fact, I believe we're late enough that I could probably pull up the 18Z by this point. So the 18Z, let's take a look at 18Z real quick. Okay, so this is what the 18Z does. As you can see, the 18Z is much further south, and it's delayed. That's another part I'm worried about. It is much slower than the other computer model guidance. I'm not hanging my head on the GFS, but boy, does it have a winter storm for us here in Arkansas. And look what it does. Okay, so the low, if you go with the 18Z GFS, it takes the low, same path, southeast New Mexico, central Texas, up into central Louisiana and into Mississippi here. But look what happens here. Okay, there's an area of freezing rain from much of central Arkansas and up to north central Arkansas here. This is a crippling ice storm if you go with the GFS. Okay, heavy snow across northwestern Arkansas here. So a full-blown ice storm with this, I'm very worried. I am very, very worried about someone getting an ice storm out of this, depending on the setup. Okay, and then look what happens. You transition over to sleet and snow by the time you get towards late Thursday and early Friday morning here. Okay, so that's what it does. And also you can see the Arctic air just lingering behind. Okay, and I can even take this out even further, and you can see what it does. The cold air is not going anywhere. This is sustained cold air across Arkansas here. So that's what the GFS is wanting to do. It's kind of back and forth right now on the winter weather type and the timing at this point. But we're looking from anywhere late Wednesday night and into Thursday for the potential of seeing winter weather across the neck of the woods here if you go with the 18Z GFS. Euro. Let's talk about the Euro for a bit. The Euro has been extremely back and forth with this. Last night had a major winter storm for us here in Arkansas. Today it has gone back to rain. However, as you can see what it does with the track, from West Louisiana into North Louisiana, Northeast Louisiana, Southeast Arkansas, into Mississippi, you transition over to ice across northern Arkansas and into snow in Northwest, and then it's done. And everybody transitions over to snow, and then that's it. Okay, and you have a lot of cold air. I mean, a lot of cold air coming in behind the system. So the number one thing I want to stress to you guys right now is the amount of cold air that's coming in, regardless of what happens. Confidence is increasing in winter weather. The problem I have right now is depending on the type of winter weather. Will we be dealing with an all snow event, sleet and snow, or freezing rain? It all depends on the track of the low. I cannot stress that enough at this point. Okay, let's take a look at the Euro Ensembles real quickly here. You can see what the Euro Ensembles does. I'm gonna go ahead and take this back. Okay, the Euro Ensembles takes this from East Texas into southeastern Arkansas, which is not a track for winter weather for us in Arkansas, but this is what it does. There's another thing I'm worried about. Arctic air is filtering down behind this system. Okay, let me repeat that. Arctic air is filtering down behind this system. That means that behind this system, everybody changes over to winter weather. It just depends on if the system's further south, or north, etc. Okay, but on that track, yes, you have heavy rainfall for the majority of the event, but you would change over to winter weather, as you can see with your 0 degree line coming through central Arkansas. You change over to winter weather as you get towards Thursday, and then it's out of here, and then the cold air behind this system lasts as we get towards next weekend, and even in some cases could last into the early part of the following week. Okay, so this is the Gfs Ensembles. Okay, so we can take this out. That's the 18Z. We're going to step this back to the 12Z real quickly here, and we'll go out to 126 hours out. Let's talk about that, okay? So this is the Gfs Ensembles. As you can see, major winter storm if you go with the ensembles, okay? Really takes this out, okay? And then we lasted all the way to even in some cases Friday morning, which we get a winter storm that long, it's going to cause a lot of problems here in Arkansas. But the biggest thing is the cold air lingering behind. A 1041 millibar Arctic high coming down behind this system here. So overall, regardless of what happens with this system, either you get winter weather, you get cold, rain, or what, the biggest story will be the cold air surging in behind this system here, guys. Be prepared for that as we get towards late next week here. We'll keep you guys informed on this system right here in your source for all things Arkansas weather.